let's shorten let's shorten that. Let's just say, are you ready to move forward with one, building a graduated commission schedule, and two, building a independent contractor agreement? I don't want to talk about it. I want to ask him, are you ready to build a graduated commission schedule? He knows what the concept is.
That's the question we want to pose to him right there. Yes.
That's correct. That's one of them.
Right. Are you ready to discuss setting up the graduated commission schedule and the independent contractor agreement for that task? I don't think that's the way that's not what I wanted this one here. I want this one.
That's correct.
To discuss setting up the graduated commission schedule and independent contractor agreement for that task. That is what it is.
Or take that task out
Take this out.
of the new one.
I think this is the new one.
Are you ready to discuss setting up a graduated commission schedule and independent contractor agreement? Period.
Okay.
Question mark, brother. That's good. Okay. Question. Rather than can we begin, you want to say, are you ready? Just like we did with the other question. To begin the process. It's there. It's there already. Perfect. What's the purpose of the in-house software you're talking about?
Say that again, sir.
What is the purpose of this software?
This handles his database and handles his database internally and marketing.
What database?
Whatever database he needs to do to grow his recruiting process. He's got to build a database. He's got to do email drips and things like that.
No, yeah, I think what we've been talking about, same thing we've been talking about with
Yes.
Caton.
Yes.
His database is to manage his consultants and contracts and commissions and payments.
Okay.
I just put that up there in the blue writing. This tool Man, I love this stuff.
Okay. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want in the other piece there.
Okay. Are you ready to begin the process of creating your in-house database to manage?
Okay. He's coming on right now.
Okay.
Should I have this up on the screen or not?
No, I
Okay.
wouldn't.
Oh, this is note takers coming on. Oh, he's using note taker. That's a good tool. How you doing, sir?
Hi, Rich. How you doing, brother?
Don, I'm doing pretty well, man. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I had to go to the doctor.
Oh no, what happened?
I have a melanoma on my left forearm
Yeah.
that we had to remove. They got it all.
Good. You have a Mohs procedure, I'm assuming.
Not on this one, but I have a Mohs procedure on one right here on my chest.
Yeah.
But anyway, they got rid of it, and it was about 12 stitches. So
Oh wow.
all the way across here. I mean, it was high, wide, and deep.
I got one right there. You can barely see it, or probably can't see it. I got another one right there.
Yeah.
I got like 2 on my back. So I'm part of that club that I don't want to be in.
You are in the club.
I don't want to be in. I'm a frequent flyer, man. Every time I go to the dermatologist, the lady starts laughing because she pulls out that little freeze gun.
Yeah.
And she's like, man, I'm going to have the most fun I have all week with you. And she chases me around that little room.
They did that all over my arms. It was terrible. And my face. And it was awful. But
she gave me, well, and here's the thing. Last time I went, because, man, you and I are exact same. And she looked at me and she said, all right, you've reached the age and the point where I'm going to introduce you to something. And I thought, oh, man, what in the world is this? Where are we going? She said, Rich, it's called the cream. Well, she named off the name, but she said, around here, we call it the cream from hell. And she said, I guarantee you, you will cuss me out 100 times over of how bad you're going to hate it. But she said, what you do is when you get a week or so where you're not having guests or family or whatever, you put this little tiny cream on top of any of those little maybe tags or kind of things that they normally freeze off. And she said it looks for abnormal cells and it'll take them off. So you don't have to come in to see me. And yeah, and I'm like, do I really want to go through this? And she's like, well, trust me, you will cuss my name. You will hate me because it is not fun, but you can do it on your own time and space. Because otherwise, you know, you get all these things frozen off. You can't wear long sleeve.
yeah.
I mean, you can't wear short shirts or anyway. So God bless you, Don. Hopefully everything's all right.
Not fun. Well, we wanted to get a chance to chat with you and kind of finalize some discussions about kind of where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
After our initial discussion, David and I have talked for a long time about what we thought we might be able to do, and you know, it kind of boiled down to a few questions that we just need to figure out what you want,
right?
And then we can either point you to tools for you to use or to learn about, or we can help you and spend some time with you. We would be on the clock doing some of those things,
right?
Or we do it for you for an agreed upon price. We turn you over to developers that we have relationships with and turn you loose and let you go.
I think it's perfect discussion.
So that's kind of where we wanted to end up, is with answers to those questions. At some point, we need to make a decision about how we're going to do this together or not.
Right.
And
I would agree with that.
What's that going to look like? What's it going to cost? Who's going to do it? What time period do you want to start now? You know, those kind of things. Once you make that decision, there are some fundamental questions that need to be discussed so we know what to work on. Things like, do you want to structure, like you and I talked about, the generis model, and add people to your organization? Or do you just want some tools to do a better job of what you're already doing and stay by yourself?
Mhm.
There's still some unanswered questions. We started kind of fleshing all of that out to begin with, and probably has given you some food for thought.
Mhm.
Uh, so if you've got some strategy or some direction from our last discussion, we would love to kind of hear you. Kind of where are you, and
Right.
and it all depends on getting together with an offering and a cost that you say, I can live with that. Let's do that.
Right.
So let's start with that and say, yeah, of course, that's the underlying understanding that, you're not going to say, yeah, do it all for me. And then we say it's $800,000. And you say, oh my God, wait a minute.
Right.
So everything has to work for you and for us as well. So if you would kind of enlighten us a little bit about what have you thought about since our last conversation, and kind of where are you with your thinking about how do you want to go forward?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. And I think you nailed it. So right now, I don't want to be a solo person long term. I think it's much bigger than me. And I think the opportunity is there.
We do also.
Where I've given thought, and what I'm also working through the process. So I'll give you, again, I'll go on tangents a little bit, but it fills in sort of the gaps. An existing client of mine I met with this morning, and I shared with you a little bit about the business owner wanting me to take his company forward as far as selling the company. Well, I referred an M&A attorney in because I'd already put an agreement in front of the owner. But I said, listen, don't sign it. Get an attorney to review it first, because that's the right thing to do. You want an attorney to review my agreement because there's dollars involved. And through the conversation, the attorney's naturally talking about what we've done and what the process is and where we're at. And after about 4 or 5 questions, he turned around and he looked dead at the owner and he said, that's why you hire somebody like Rich. Because 90% of these deals don't do what he's done. And he gave all kind of the examples of the ones that fall apart, late in the game because contracts are not assignable, or, lease agreements, problems with the real estate, environmental. And we're over here, the owner's looking at me smiling, check.
Yeah.
We got it. Okay. Well, in parallel, I'm also trying to build a brand. I've already got my marketing guy working with me on when I first started doing this, I'm solo. So, my name's in the business and some stuff like that. We're already working on, well, what does that next phase of branding look like? So it's not just, 3 guys in a truck kind of thing. So I'm working on that one in parallel. What I've not gotten to as far yet, but I'm planning on that during my, I'm going on vacation the week of the 20th, is what I've done up to this point. And I shared a little bit with you about my process that, and how I use some AI tools to refine it per client, et cetera, is how do I standardize the process while also keeping the value of the AI type analysis involved as well. That, and also how do I make this scalable? And also, what role do I want to play? Because when you bring in a certain level of expertise, yeah, that's great. But if you can't find people that can do that expertise, then does the model allow well, wait, if we can sell it, then sort of your standard consulting model, right? If you can sell it, you've got a strong enough value proposition, then I don't have to be out there selling it. So all of that to say, I don't know that I've got a great answer for you right now, other than I know I don't want to be just long-term a solo. And I also, with much bigger plans, would love to have ideas over, and let me say this, ideas in such a way that there's not a lot of work about what I'm about to say. I'd love for you guys to come back and say, Rich, this is how we think we could help you. And here's some ballparks. We can get into details later, but here's an order of magnitude of what we're looking at, because then it can help me either, yes, that's in budget today, or do I do some things to make it in budget? Or is it, okay, let me phase or take care of a few things so that it is in budget by this kind of time frame, if that makes sense. So, you know, I'd love to hear more, because I don't want to be just the guy. Yeah, again, I think the opportunity is massive. I'm not aware of anybody doing it today. And I know everybody says that when they're doing things. I also know once the word gets out, I'm going to have a lot of people on me, because I'm stepping into, you know, some areas, but there's no reason it can't be much, much greater and bigger and even potentially disruptive. Did that answer at all any of the questions?
Somewhat. And I would say, let me just give you some of my thinking, and you can kind of say, okay, that's kind of the road I want to go down.
Right. Okay.
And David, you kick in here anytime. But
Let me just say this real quick. Let's make sure that we all understand that 3 guys in a truck, those guys are multimillionaires.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They're totally multimillionaires.
Well, and again, the thing that got my attention on it, David, I started this as an advisory business, but when I've had multiple clients and multiple attorneys all come back and them pushing me to say, Rich, we want you to market the company. We want you to help sell it. And I'm like, you know what? I've seen how the other half works, and it's not pretty. That's not the way I treat people. You start selling larger, and you guys know this, you start selling larger companies and you're getting a percentage of the deal as you're doing it. Now you're talking some pretty serious money involved, depending on the deals.
yeah,
Yes, a lot of the upside.
do you want to actually be involved in the sale, or do you want to manage the sale using a company that's set up to do that?
The latter.
Okay.
Well, let me say this. Like anything, there's an evolution to get there, right? I need to know it well enough to represent the company and also manage the risk and et cetera. And I'll go through at least 2 or 3 of those iterations, you know, I'm assuming pretty soon. But yes, longer term, I don't want to be the boots on the ground doing this. I want to manage it and continue to spread the word, be the what do you call it? You know, the one out there that's, you know, really trying to help and show the world that there's a better way.
You want to be an owner. You
Yeah.
want to get out of the process and get into the ownership of managing a well-run, extremely effective business analysis and sales company. Does that say right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, that was nice, Don.
All right. So I'm glad we got it recorded because I probably won't remember that.
Yeah, I'm with you too.
But I'm just thinking from a practical standpoint for discussion for today. David and I were talking about we think the first thing that we would try to do for you, which would be foundational in gathering the information that we need to be able to build tools for you to build a company like that and to have the tools to manage it and be the owner instead of the doer, if that makes
Right.
sense. Is it build a database of the process, the asking of the questions, the different segments of the pieces of the findings that you're going to need to find out about a business so that you could then prepare them. And you, I'm sure, already have all of this. It's probably, it's part of it is here, and part of it is here, and part of it is over here. But if we put it into one format where you start filling out or loading documents and information of the different pieces that you need in order for you to make a proper presentation, a proper analysis, a proper strategy going forward, or a business owner to make a decision to hire you to do more, not just an analysis, but the actual work of preparing them for a sale.
And that's exactly how it works.
All right, so let's cut it off there. Let's don't talk about selling yet. Involved in that, that's another process. But so therefore, we would need a check. I see it as a checklist of information that you over the years have gleaned to say this is the all of the stuff. Some of it is a spreadsheet, some of it is a document, some of it is an insurance policy, some of it is financials. It's a checklist of all of the stuff that you need inside your database for it to be available to you to do the proper analysis, to be sure that you have everything that that company needs in order to be prepared to sell. Okay.
Yes, but let me clarify one for you. And I was thinking I need to check because I love to show you an example of a sort of sample outcome of the initial phase, because that would answer a lot of the initial questions. And I've got one. I'll have to find it and see where I put it there.
Okay.
But the initial phase is going to consist again of about 3 different areas. I'll expand on that in a second. First, owner's goals.
Yeah.
Owner's personal, financial, and business goals. And that's more of a Q&A.
Yeah.
Where we capture that. Where's their baseline? Where they're, what's
Q&A.
There's then the assessment aspect. And the assessment is a scoring mechanism, 1 to 6. And as all of the questions broken in, I break them out in about 4 categories. The owner, personal readiness, financial readiness, and then the business, attractiveness, how attractive it is to the market, and how ready it is to transition. Okay. And by going through that assessment, I'm also capturing information as part of the assessment, but I'm not pulling in documents and all of that yet.
Right.
It's more because ultimately what's ending up going in parallel, we're getting an actual valuation done of the company.
Right.
And as you know, when the valuation occurs, they'll do 4 to 5 different valuation methods, but they always come back with a range of values.
Yeah.
Well, the scoring mechanism will tell me, will it sell at all? And if so, where will it fall within that range of values?
Right.
And then does that number meet the financial goal? net taxes and fees.
Now, do you have a document or a calculation that does that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me say this. I used to use a database, as I shared before, that I bought, and I'm not aware of any of them that does it effectively. So I canceled that, and it's more manual today.
Okay.
But in essence, I take the valuation information back from the report that I get from the valuation company. I take the results of the assessment, the scoring mechanism,
Mhm.
and then I plot it, and you do some of the data smoothing stuff so you don't have, each side is,
Sure.
uh, um, uh, skews. But then what I'll provide back for the owner is, okay, here's a range of values, and here's how the scoring overlays on top. So if you came in at the 10%, this would be your valuation. You came in at the 90th percentile, because I cut all the other noise out.
Right.
And then based on the assessment, here's where you fell.
Yeah.
And then as part of that, so then they get the dollars right off the bat. It's a nice little summary. But then right behind that is what are those areas of the assessment that scored below, say, 50%? And because I do 1 to 6, there's no halfway, right? It's either 1 to 3 below. It's either below or above. You can't just
right.
And then as part of that, we also prioritize those areas that carry the most value increase, if you want to call it, once we address it, for the shortest amount of time. So things like de-risking mechanisms, have you got a leadership team, key employees? What about, insurance policies or things like that on the company, et cetera? And then those other areas that drag low, that if you address, would move that needle where it needs to be. And then for those areas that came in lower, I also put together 4 to 5 bullets over here's a recommended path.
Mhm.
So some of them that are really clean is not that bad. Others could be pages and pages of recommendations. But that's what the ultimate outcome is of the initial phase. And then when they see it, they're like, okay, now I get it. Now I know why you asked me these questions. I'm seeing it again. Now I know how it relates to the value of the company. All right, Rich, what's next?
So this is in the assessment phase, all of what we just talked about.
Yes.
And now you have a document for them to look at.
Yes.
Maybe there's some metering that tells them where they are in this particular area. And then it gives them a score, and it maybe gives them a range of what you think the company might be worth.
Yes.
Based on if you want to move the needle a little bit here. And if you had a tool to be able to do that, that would be really nice. If we could move the needle from a 2 to a 4
in these areas,
this particular area, look at what it does to the evaluation.
Yes, that's where you got it. That's where your ROI comes from for the initiatives as well.
Right.
Yes.
So then after they see the assessment, which it cost them what would you charge a typical company for that?
Depends on the size of the company, anywhere from about 10 to 20 grand. Could be a little bit more depending on.
Okay, great. So that's the assessment. This is what I charge. We'll wind up with a report for you and show you where the emphasis needs to be in order to affect the biggest change in evaluation. And then you decide, okay, Rich, now that we have the assessment finished, what I want to do is figure out what steps do we need to take to prepare the company. Yes, I want to sell it.
Right.
What steps do we need to take the company to the place where it is worth $8 million or $10 million or $100 million?
Yes.
And then so now we would go into the consultative process.
Yes.
Work with them on their documents, on their process, on their financials, on their risk management, all the rest of the other stuff that they have to do. The,
Yes.
the problems that need to be fixed where they scored a 1 or a 2, this has to be done before we go to market. So
Right.
you're working on all of those, and you would charge a company what for working on that. It depends on how much time you put in it, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
That time, size of company, complexity, it could be anywhere from maybe $5,000 a month up to 10 grand or so a month.
Depending on how much time you're putting into this and what expertise you're bringing to the table, whether it's outside or whether it's in-house or whether it's you or whatever that looks like. But then there's an assessment, and then that's kind of what we did with Generis.
Mhm.
We had a generosity assessment. We would look at the whole church as a whole, and then we would give them some probabilities of what they could raise in terms of money to do the project they wanted to do, or build a new church, or build a wing onto the church, or whatever. And then what that would look like going forward, that would be a 2-year or a 3-year process that we would charge you X number of dollars, $10,000 a month for 3 years. This is how that would shake out. So it looks a lot like the process that we used to do. Then let's draw the line and say we did the assessment, we did the consultative process with them to get them ready to go raise the money,
Right.
sell the company. And then there is after that, the selling of the company. So you have 3 opportunities for revenue. And then
Yes.
the selling of the company could be something that your company decides to build a sales process and a sales team, or you build relationships with other companies that are already set up to do that. And you say, I'm going to hand you off a ready, qualified, prepared, willing client that you don't even have to go find. I got it. And I've done all the front end work. They're ready to put it on the market and sell it. And I want 50% of the commission.
Yes.
And you don't do anything.
Right.
Other than call them and say, why isn't it sold?
Yes. Now, that's the disruptive part, as you know, because those in the industry today, that's what's going to make the hair on the back of their neck sort of stick up, because they all have in their mind. I mean, it's like a real estate agent, right? The best thing you can do is get that listing for the house, and then I got this.
Yep.
The disruptive part is when they're starting to say, well, wait a minute. Rich's company might could sell it themselves. Then they're starting to get nervous that, wait a minute, if someone can take a company from wherever they are today to get them to be highly marketable, the odds of that company selling are very high.
Very high.
As compared to the market today, which is I've got to analyze 10 deals to find maybe 2 that are really strong, that I can go to market and sell in a very short time frame. And oh, by the way, here's the other problem. If you don't do the work upstream like we do, you may do everything right. But if it gets down to that last minute and the owner or seller decides, you didn't check a button. My identity is really tied up in this business, so I don't like the way this sale is going. They don't get a penny.
Or we got an unassignable asset here that is the key to selling this company, and we didn't even know about it until now.
Right. Yeah, and see, all of that we've already gone through.
Yep.
But they could go and spend all of this time, and it happens a lot, and it doesn't sell, and they don't get a penny. So I like the idea of handing it off and getting the 50%, but I haven't tested that market enough yet. Now, my guess is there's going to be enough out there that says, you know what, I'll try this out. Because if I'm ready to go to market tomorrow and this thing is locked and loaded, and here's our checklist, and you've checked all the boxes on it, then I don't have to expend the effort, to do all, or the risk factor to uncover everything to make sure that it's sellable in the first place.
Right.
I don't have the answer yet to their reaction, but I have a feeling that, it'll be, no, we're not going to share with you. And I'm like, fine.
Okay, great. That's perfectly okay. Because
Yes.
I've had a conversation and we said, okay, here's what we can do. If you say no, I don't want to pass it off, then what we have are tools in the arsenal already that could take that asset, whatever that company is, and build a strategy around it that you're going to probably already know most of the steps that are necessary and the place where it needs to be exposed to uncover the ideal borrower, and then create the same kind of process as we did for the seller for the buyer, to put them through the question Q&A process to be sure that we understand if they're ready to purchase something. And then we're going to then let you know that we have something for you. We've matched you up with the ideal business. And now you've got a full service agency standing in front of you so that you can help them to analyze the ability to sell and the preparation to sell, and then the strategy to go to market, and then the Q&As that need to be done in order to qualify somebody so you don't waste your time with them. And then if they are qualified, match them up using some of the AI tools that David is absolutely expert at using to put them through the process, either the buyer process or the seller process. It really doesn't matter. All you're looking for is a qualified individual to sell or to buy on either side of the transaction. And then you put the deal together, hopefully with a sale and a listing all in one package, but maybe you only do one side of it or the other side of it. But in any case, the tools could be built to gather that, qualify, produce the documents that are required for the sale to take place. That's what we think would be the ideal situation for you to move forward and grow this to a multi-million-dollar, million-dollar company, if that's what you wanted to do.
Well, that would be brokering with the buyer side. I hadn't even gone there yet. So that's not, again, thank you, Don. There's some ideas there. What I also have to look at is there are some laws out there that says if you're creating a marketplace, there are some additional laws that you have to adhere to. And it's a reason that in my agreement I have today to do this, I'm called an M&A advisor versus a broker.
Yeah. You can't.
Now, brokers, again, as we know, are smaller companies, but they also can create a marketplace where, if you're a buyer and you're a seller, well, hey, I got this, and we can put you together, and etc. So I have to be careful, early on, and I'm doing my homework on that. There's no reason I couldn't, over time, bring that under the umbrella in some kind of relationship like you're talking about.
Probably just like real estate, it would have to be disclosed properly under the state law where you're operating.
Well, and that's the thing. It's why brokers have to have a real estate license.
Right.
It's for the, transfer of assets and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But the good part is, because I'm going through the marketing of the sale process today, I'm already building out the templates, the process, at least to what I would do as a best practice. So whether it's teasers, it's sims, it's data rooms, you know, I see so much noise out there, but it's also the pain. There's not a lot of, hey, go find a template and copy off of.
Yeah.
Because most keep that pretty close to their vest, which is fine. But yes, I'm building that as I go for that particular client, while I'm also doing the marketing and working with other clients along the way as well. That makes sense.
Right.
I'm sorry, go.
Is it fair to say that that based on this 15 minutes so far, that you guys are both on the same page?
I think in general, yes. I think Don's probably phase 4, and I'm at like maybe 2.5 or 3. But in the vision aspect of what we're talking about, yes.
Okay, because from my point of view, where I'm sitting at, and all my notes from our last meeting, I'm looking at this as I'm being a little greedy here, okay? I'm being greedy for Don and myself. We would love to have you as a client, okay? We'd like to do business with you. In whatever format you guys work the details out, I just want to be part of it with you, okay? I like the growth idea concept here. And I feel that AI automation is going to be a big play within your organization. And I am a definite wannabe guy in your space, not as somebody that wants to learn by being involved with you. I want to bring to the table the value that you need in order to grow your business to the way you want to see it grow. So I'm not looking at this the way that you guys are looking at it. I'm not looking at it the way that you guys are talking it through, because everything that you just described in that conversation was a development task, okay? It's one piece of what you want to have or what you'd like to create. It's the development. What I'm looking at is, how do Don and I fit into your organization to build you a business snapshot that is unique to your business, that runs the way you want it to run using AI automation. That's where I'm at. That's step one, right? And so step one means that we need to get off the topics of anything that is in developmental stage, because you do need development within your organization that will lead to some kind of AI automation or enhanced value of your invaluement of your stages and processes. What we need to focus on would be a workflow consultation, okay? We need to go through and do a workflow consultation for you. And so the question would be, is that something that you're willing to do with us? If it is, then we've got a place to start, at least to be able to have conversations that are topical, get in and do one topic at a time and say, is this the direction? This is what we talked about. This is what it will do. This is our end result for you. This is the software you should use, that kind of stuff. We have to build a relationship with you that makes it so that you trust what we're bringing to the table for you. As an example, you've got pieces in here where we started off talking about how you're going to scale the business model. That's the big topic, right? Scaling the business model. Commission structures, database and software integration, business valuation and consulting, that's one thing that you guys were just talking about. That's a topic. And then scaling, then we had conversations about scaling all the different challenges that you had. The tasks that we had talked about was develop a scalable contractor model, okay? Finalize and integrate software, build a valuation and assessment tool. That's a development piece. You don't have to go into it in depth on these kind of conversations, because that's something that we've already decided and you've already decided that you want to build a valuation and an assessment tool. And so that's part of what's already in the snapshot development that I'm working on for you, because I believe that there are tools out there already that you can utilize in several different ways. One way would be that you could buy the tool directly from us using our affiliate links and do it yourself, or you can buy it through our affiliate links and we can do it for you, or you can buy it through our affiliate links and we can consult for you. Okay.
Mhm.
But all of the things that you're talking about in this workflow, in your business snapshot workflow, that's what we're working on right now. All of what you guys are talking about is already on the workflow. We just need to add all the other pieces and hear you say, yes, that's what you need to move forward on. Okay. Because if you don't do it the way that I'm kind of discussing it, you end up getting hit with a huge bill that, somebody's coming to you and saying, okay, you want to do all this? That's $100,000. And I'm being facetious there. If we do it the way I'm talking about doing it, then we can jump into something that will, no matter what, fit into your budget properly. Okay.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this question. I didn't mean to take up 10 minutes right there,
Oh,
but
keep going, man. I like it.
Oh, this is good, David, because
Yeah, I do have a clarification of a terminology, but I don't want you to lose your train of thought.
no, I don't.
So,
I won't lose my train of thought. What? Go ahead, because I've got
Okay.
it all sitting in front of me.
oh, cool. I like that even better. The valuations, I just want to clarify that we're on the same page on it. There's a ton of companies out there that offer a valuation free of charge as a lead gen tool. But to do an effective valuation, number one, the people that I use are certified value advisors, and they've gone through all the certifications and et cetera. But you also have to have, when a private deal occurs and there's a transaction, there's no central database that captures the details of the transaction. There's today probably 4 to 5 of the top disparate databases that the deal information is voluntarily uploaded to. I subscribe to the top one myself, but I don't subscribe to the other 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever that are on down there that these valuation companies do. It's also important, depending on the type company it is, to perform or focus on the right kind of valuation. Because in the industry, with those people that are either doing it very inexpensively or are doing it as a lead gen, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So they'll use a certain approach when it's really not applicable for that business model. But if you don't know any better, you're giving out misleading information. So that's why today, because I don't want to spend all of my time doing valuation per se, I outsource it at a pretty good rate. And then I use the results of that to actually, there's your range is validated by there's a range of values validated by a CVA in their firm. Now my assessment layers on top of that. Long term, of course, I'd love to build that capability, but I don't have to do that today because it's in the overall scheme of things, it's relatively inexpensive.
it's readily available to you already.
It is today, but part of the quality, and the reason I'm going down this is part of the quality that I provide is the clarity that most business owners and even people in the industry don't understand. So when someone says, I have no idea what my company is worth, and everybody says, oh, let's do a multiple, they'll Google, well, what is a multiple in a construction industry?
Right.
Oh, maybe it's 3 times. Well, 3 times what? Is it adjusted EBITDA or is it straight out of the books? Where did you get your data from? Is that 6 months ago or 15 years ago?
Yeah.
So the reality is there's a lot of misleading out there. So I didn't want you, David, to walk away that says, hey, I can slap, I don't mean this with any disrespect to AI. I can slap financials in AI to give me a valuation. I tried that yesterday. And it came with the company I'm working with, and it came back, oh, this is this, and multiple range of this is this. And then I said, can you please cite your sources from where this came from? Oh, well, we don't really have sources. We don't have access to those databases. This is just generic data.
And
So I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I'm not thinking in that manner at all. What I am doing very diligently right now is everything that you just said, okay, that whole spiel that you just gave is totally your marketing content. Okay. I mean, it's hundreds of pieces of marketing content right there, what you just said, through an AI avatar that is you. Have you thought about building an AI avatar of you?
No, not yet.
Okay. That's a must. Everything that you just said was perfect. Okay. Your iteration of it, your knowledge of it, the way you said it, your facial expressions, everything would be a great avatar. Okay. And it's a disruptive avatar because you're talking about the way others do it. What you need, the piece, what I am listening to is everything that you're talking about from beginning to end, and then taking all of the pieces that you're talking about and putting it into this business snapshot workflow. Where does it fit so that I can start to help you develop each piece? So at this point, my question to you would be, where do you want to start? I want to say, how can Don and I get involved in your business? What do you want us to do first, second, or third, or in what time frame? What could we help you with that you feel is most important? And then if we agree with what you're saying, then we can say, okay, we can do this for this amount, or have some kind of consultative agreement to help you go farther, because it's crazy not to have a guy like me working for you on a daily basis on a task. It's crazy not to have that based on the information that you've just done for 2 hours the other day, 30 minutes that we've got into right now. Every time you talk, every time you pass information along, you want somebody like me sitting there grabbing this content to do whatever I feel is most important for your business. That's what AI is all about, right? I mean, everything that you do, I've got to turn into something. That conversation about what you want to develop as a tool, that's within the conversation, but it can also be turned into a marketing piece. It can be turned into a PDF document. It can be turned into correspondence that can go out in, you can turn it into email concepts for drip emails. There's tons of stuff that you can do, but we have to figure out where you want to start. Do you want to start by building the infrastructure of the snapshot? Do you want to start by building the marketing strategy and generating sales within the snapshot? Do you want to start looking for recruits within the snapshot? Do you want to look at building a training model for the recruits within the snapshot? There's all of those key pieces that have to be addressed so that when we have these conversations, they're specific and topical at the moment that we're having them. Otherwise, what we're doing is we're recording this, and I'm taking this data, taking this conversation, putting it into my tools and sitting here going, what do these guys want me to do with it? What can I do to, how do I do this? I'm watching you. I mean, I'm following you on LinkedIn. I'm following you on what you're doing. How do we make what you're already doing either automated or more effective for you? How many clients a month are you generating right now? And how many do you want to generate? Those would be, questions. Do you want to make money first, or do you want to spend money first? What direction do you want to go in? That's where I'm at. I hope that I didn't disrupt your conversations, but I need to figure out I don't want to feel like I'm not contributing to you guys. I want to sit back and when you're all finished doing your conversation, I have something to do. I know that sounds foolish, but I'm 70 years old. I had a stroke, and I sit here at my desk. Whenever I sit down at my desk, I want to be doing something, So
And
that's
Dave,
what yes,
we,
sir.
we want you using your brain to figure out stuff that neither one of us probably even want to think about or certainly do, because that's the stuff that you do the best, is thinking through that stuff. All I want to be sure that we have when we start is, I use the example all the time, is when you put a puzzle together, what is the first thing that you do when you put a puzzle together for the first time?
Figure out all the outsides.
Nope.
No, okay. Turn all the puzzle pieces all going the same way.
Nope.
I have no idea. I've never done a puzzle.
You look at the box top.
Yeah.
That's a clever
Let's
idea.
see what it looked like.
You look at the box top and figure out, is it a seascape? Is it a mountain scene? Is it a abstract? What is it?
Is it a square? Is it a circle?
And then you start doing all of the pieces together where it is easier to understand where things fit. And so what I try to do is to take the big picture, the box top. If I got the box top, I can figure out what the corners look like, what colors they are, where they're going to go, and put them on the card table so that this puzzle comes together a lot easier, because I know what it looks like when we finish. And that's why I ask those kinds of questions. And by the way, you and I came up with a couple of questions that might answer what you just talked about. And that was, I'm trying to remember what we said. We need to ask him this, which might get us moving in the right direction. You got those questions?
I was building another document. Let me see if I can do an undo here. Okay, I got everything back. I was a little nervous there. Oh,
Yes.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. You know what I did is I was building another document while you guys were talking, and I cut and pasted. I didn't change the title. You idiot. I did not change the title. So I've got to go back and do that all over again. But the questions are the beginning stages that I felt that we wanted to know about. The first thing we got to figure out is, should we put together, is there an agreement we should put together between us to make it so that we're joined at the hip? Is that something that is affordable to you? Are you ready to get started with something like that? The second piece is that you're using HubSpot, right?
I am today. I'm
Okay.
not married to it, but
I'd like to get you out of HubSpot, and I'd like to move you into a snapshot called Convert Wave, which is something that is a business in a box, and it's something that you could do. Like I told you, you can do it yourself, do it for you, or do it or have us manage it for you and market it for you, doing that kind of stuff. But it's a software package that you're not going to find it online because it's a snapshot. Okay. It's custom built. It's our custom built piece. It's a piece that is marketing. It has all the marketing capabilities, the recruiting capabilities, dashboard capabilities, and so forth, all within the software. But I'll take you through the process. You know of Go High Level, correct? Go High Level software?
No.
Okay, well, Go High Level software is the fastest growing CRM marketing software in the world. And it is blowing Salesforce and HubSpot out of the water, okay? And it's a tool that it's completely white labeled. And at the level that I'm at with HubSpot, with Go High Level, I have the ability to customize Go High Level and build internal snapshots. So inside Go High Level, inside my account, our account, I have landscaping businesses, attorneys, I have plumbers, I have all kinds of home services type individual clients inside my system that are all customized snapshots, so that when I do an ad that goes out, and this week I decide I'm going after landscapers that have, 5 trucks and 35 to 100 employees, and I target that market. When they start calling me on the phone, and they say, yes, I'm interested in whatever reason they contacted me, whether it's because they want to do LinkedIn, they want to do Facebook, whatever they want to do, the snapshot is already built. And so I communicate with them, just like you talked about a few minutes ago. You said some people are using the valuation tool as a hook, right? Well, I build a snapshot, and then I use the pieces of the snapshot as a hook. Like Facebook might be a hook. Say they have an interest in Facebook. I bring them in, show them what the tool will do it for Facebook, scheduling, posting, and so forth. And then I say, now the upsell is, why don't you take the full snapshot, because it does recruiting, email marketing, it does scheduling, it does memberships, it does classrooms, it does training, it does all kinds of stuff like that. And so I pitch them that way. And in my mind, I think that that's the tool that you should have, I call it Convert Wave. And you put Convert Wave in, and at least when it's inside your system, then we can work with you individually, maybe for the first couple of weeks, a couple of months, get you so that you're looking at it saying, okay, this is what I'd like to have in this section. Or we build out the business snapshot that we're talking about. And inside that business snapshot workflow, we are talking about the different areas that you want to change, and we can make those changes for you as we go along. Really simple stuff. As an example, are you running any kind of email campaigns right now for anything? And if you are, what are your email campaigns going out for?
Not currently running the email campaigns. It's on the radar. I've done them before, more on the advisory side, not on full exit mode. So I just haven't done that yet.
On the advisory side, here's one thing I wrote down that I thought was really cool. I think I heard you say that you have attorneys that are calling you on the phone actually passing referrals to you, right?
Well, a lot of the referrals come in as, Rich, will you talk to them? Because the owners and the attorneys really don't know what they need or they want. So I get involved in a lot of discussions that may not turn out to be deals that I take on, at least short term, but it's building my brand and it's building the marketplace. What I did say, because I'll give you the example, my number one so far referral partner is our wealth advisors. They already have relationships with business owners. They're managing their money. And when the business owner says, hey, have I got enough? Am I ready? What does life in the future look like? No one can effectively say, even the wealth advisors, have you considered the value of your business for your overall wealth plan? None of them can answer that question.
Okay, so with what you're talking about right now, that being a referral partner, how much marketing to those guys are you doing?
Good bit, but good bit on the ones that I've got. It works when it clicks on both sides.
Are you split testing?
No, but let me say this. It's more of a referral relationship today with the right wealth advisors. But once you then meet with them, the story sounds good across the board. They love to meet with me because I bring them a business owner right before it sells so they can get all the assets at the last minute. That's what they think. So I have to do a lot of vetting of the ones that do. We do have the little dance, so to speak. The ones that we've danced and decided that, yeah, this is a great discussion and relationship. One of them right now has put me in front of 3 business owners, and they all are in the phase of the buying process of my service.
So,
So that one's been strong. That
so
relationship.
it would be fair to say that wealth advisor, that's a key word. Those are keywords that no matter whether it's good for you or not right now, you figured out a way to have wealth advisor. You at least have one guy that's working with you that you enjoy. You've got 3 deals, that you're working with him. So
Right.
It makes no sense to me to not have wealth advisor keywords in a marketing platform, marketing on every platform that you need to be on, pushing stuff out every day, every moment at the times, the properly scheduled times, and fielding that information and fielding it and drilling it down to get to where you get to talk to somebody that you've already vetted them to the best of your ability so that they can have a verbal conversation with you without wasting time. I mean, that's just a plain simple thing that needs to be done ASAP in my mind. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm saying that's the thought process behind the kind of software that I'm talking about putting together. There's no way that there's no way that I could sit back. It's like back in the day when I actually worked for Don, and he would either give me a task, or a group of guys would be sitting at a conference table giving Don ideas about what should be going on. And I turn around at the end of the meeting and say, Don, everything that they say doesn't make any sense to me. I think we should do it like this, and we should start doing it today. And then he says, can you do it? And I say, yes, rather than having a group of guys saying, this is what we should do, and then going and putting it together for him. For you, the key wealth, what was the term? Wealth advisors.
Yeah.
Wealth advisors and anything to do with wealth and those keywords is important to you. And if those are keywords that should be in your business, you need to be doing that marketing continuously. There's no reason that you shouldn't be, there's no reason to be turning off that lead generation source. None whatsoever. No matter, you want revenue coming through the door every day, right? Whether you can deal with it right now or not, wouldn't it be a great problem to have more revenue, more deals coming in and trying to figure out what to do next? I mean, you'd figure it out a whole lot faster, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, you would have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one thing and I don't think it's probably set up, or maybe.
How much blogging do you do?
Not as much today. I do more of the time. I guess that's not working. I was going to share something with you. I do more of the time on LinkedIn, but not to the business owners, because business owners are not on LinkedIn. So most of my activity on LinkedIn is tied to the advisors and those that are referral partners. And I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I was going to share something with you. Something that I do that's a differentiator, for example, is I put together a marketing slick for wealth advisors, and I send it to them. Oh, you want to differentiate, you want to talk about this, here's how I work with you, here's how I keep you looped in, here's et cetera, et cetera. So I do that for wealth advisors. And in the industry, you can be a financial advisor that's also a wealth advisor. But typically, if the label is a wealth advisor is personal funds. Financial advisor can be personal or business, 401ks, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I do market and also demonstrate through my marketing, but it's more individually. I'm not doing mass marketing today to those, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, to a guy like me, no, that wouldn't make sense. Okay. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, but there's that, to me, that doesn't make sense. Why you would turn that spigot off. You know what I mean? Why take it down to just one at a time? Because that's what your bottleneck is, Rich. That's what you told us in the very beginning. You're the guy. What you're doing right now is you're the guy doing all the work. And so, and what The reason what I see, what you just said in that marketing strategy, you have to be the only guy doing the work because you're doing LinkedIn on a personal basis. You're not doing LinkedIn to generate something that can go into an automated tool and create something for you without you having to do all the work. You're doing the work. So how many connection requests do you make a week or a day to wealth advisors?
I'm not doing the automated on LinkedIn today. I have in the past, but I'm not currently doing that as well today.
So you're not using Sales Navigator.
I am using Sales Navigator, but I use it primarily for individual research. And I also use it because there's a tool called Link Match that allows me to capture data off of LinkedIn and put it directly into HubSpot. So it's an integration directly from LinkedIn into HubSpot.
Once it's in HubSpot, what are you doing with it in HubSpot?
Not a whole lot right now, other than, whether it's networking or I'm not doing outbound marketing with it, but I do a lot of referrals through it. I'll also do follow-up through it. I capture notes. For example, all of the Fathom that I'm doing right now in the note taker goes directly into that record within HubSpot. So that way HubSpot's my central location for all the data. So as I have follow-ups, I have discussions and et cetera, that's where I go to.
Is that all manual?
I'm sorry, Dave?
Is that all manual?
No, it's automated. The only thing that's manual is
tell me how a follow-up is automated. How's your automated follow-up? What does that mean?
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about getting the data into HubSpot. That's just about automated across the board, except for a little bit on the LinkedIn. I'm not doing follow-up out of HubSpot today. That's manual. And you were saying, Don?
Let me look box top again.
Yeah.
Most important to you,
good question.
Is individual deals for yourself to work from these wealth advisors, or is it building a team of people first to be able to pass these off to if you're going to build a strategy of gleaning leads from them?
Yeah. Today it's, I'm in that space of doing both, because I'm learning as I get more and more volume of the deals that I'm working through.
Yeah.
I'm developing the tools. I'm doing it the right way. I'm seeing what's working, what's not working as I'm gaining the experience. But then I see very rapidly again that if I turned on a marketing spigot, I'd be overwhelmed with doing the work. So I'm that natural balance right now to say, gain the credibility, gain the knowledge, the tools, the systems, while also developing the plan so that when it's hard work of me doing all the work up here, now I'm starting to do this.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying box top. And I'll ask you that question
right
a different way.
Yes.
You want to work on your business, or do you want to focus in your business? Same question, just asking a different way. But if the answer is I want to do both, I get that. But right now, for the next 6 months, where is it that you want to focus? Working on your business or working in your business? On it means working with me and David and trying to build the data store or whatever the snapshot that is specific specific to your business, and or working with David and I to create opportunities for you as an individual.
Well, today I want to work. The reason we're having this call is because it's own the business.
Yep.
Now, I have existing clients and I'm still generating the revenue from this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be doing what I'm doing today a year, 2 years, 5 years from now.
Yeah, that's a waste.
Yes. And the
Right.
market, the opportunity is completely out of control.
Yeah. Is it affordable for you to back off of your personal business for a little bit, not completely, but a little bit, so that you stay in touch, you keep learning, but you start spending a much greater amount of time on building your business and working on your business for the next 6 months so that you don't have to work in your business?
Good question. I'd probably have to run the numbers, and also it's a bigger question than just on the surface, because there's some things I haven't done. So in other words, I haven't sold a company yet. I was asked to do that, and I'm developing along the way, but I want to go through that process to ensure that I know how to do it so that I can effectively sell it and build out the tools that we have as well. That was just one case in point. So I don't know, if you had asked me this, maybe a year ago, I'd have said, hey, take 6 months off and let's build it. But I didn't know 6 months ago what I know now. So for me, I'm sort of doing what you're talking about, of sort of I'm not turning up the gate or the throttle 100% on the marketing, because I already know that I'd be overwhelmed immediately.
Yeah.
So what is that happy space that says I'm paying the bills, I'm servicing clients, I'm getting the credibility in the industry, but I'm not maxed out because I'm having to work on the business. And frankly, the reason I went to Steve, who introduced me to you, was, yes, it's very easy, as we know, to end up 6 months from now and I'm still in the business.
Yep.
And I tell my clients that all the time, but then I have to elevate myself as well. So probably didn't give you the best answer in the world, but that's sort of where I'm seeing and what I'm trying to do right now.
No, you gave me an answer. You just didn't give me a definitive answer. That's all.
Right.
And that's okay.
Well,
I get it.
And fair to say, you guys have given me a heck of a lot to think about, even today, because again, David, I don't know everything that you do. I mean, except you ask good questions, man. So kudos for that. But for example, you've tossed out tools. Okay, I'm not aware of the tools, good or bad, but I'm not going to go and switch all over just because of a good 30, 45-minute conversation. So I got a little homework to do there. I haven't documented. I've got a vision, but I hadn't documented it. So if you ask me, all right, Rich, what's the top of the box?
Yeah.
I could probably describe it pretty well, but not to the extent to say you could put a puzzle together. So I need to do that. So I've got some work that I need to do myself.
Here's a great question for you. Did I understand you to say that you haven't sold one of the businesses yet? You're trying to learn how to do that. You're not sure if you can. Did you say that?
No, I'm not saying I'm not sure I can. I'm pretty, I'm 99.9% confident this is happening.
Okay.
But there are so many variations of things that can happen when selling a business that you got to go through it. You got to experience it, and all the negotiations and the forms and the schedules and the back and forths and and here's the other part.
You're doing sales, but the bottom line is you can do it. You're not, you can do it. You can answer that question right now definitively, that you can sell it. That if you have everything that you want to have, everything that your business snapshot can give you in your hands, you feel confident that you're going to sell it. Okay. Whether your closing percentage is 25%, whether it's 35%, whether it's 80%, you know that you can close a deal. You can sell a business.
And let me confirm again, I'm about making sure we're using the same words. These are existing clients, or this is an existing client that I've already gone through this entire process we've talked about up to the sale. Now, as of probably this, I didn't see my email pop up. I've begun the selling process of the business, but I'm also having an attorney to validate with the seller my M&A agreement. So I provided an agreement to say what I'm going to do as part of the selling. Now, in this world, it's here's all the information and the forms and the documents and the NDAs and everything else that you got to put together before you can even start marketing the business. And then marketing the business leads to letters of intent, which then, or NDAs, SIMs, letters of intent, which then leads to, analysis and then identification and then ultimately due diligence. And then out of due diligence is also, definitive agreements and purchase agreements. I understand the process. Do what?
That's a lot of legal work.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a lot of legal work.
Everything that he just described, this is what I'm listening to. Everything he just described is working in the business.
Yeah.
My question is how do I get you to work on the business with us for 2 to 4 hours a week? How do I make a deal with you for 2 to 4 hours a week? How do we get involved with you for 2 to 4 hours a week in working on your business? Because in my mind, I think that you need the coaching of Don, or the guidance of Don to keep you on track to successfully accomplish specific tasks and goals that you want to hit. That's what I think that we should be talking about, because everything that we are talking about are things that you're doing every day or things that you want to have done every day. And it's only you sitting there thinking about those things. You're on your own thinking about it. How do I make it work? That I think is a tough place to be. We just want to be involved. We just want to be involved with it, with you, and work on it instead of in it. You're going to continue to work in it. You seem to be that kind of a guy. I'm just the opposite of you. I can only work in something, and I'm really kind of goofy because I don't pick hard things to work on. Okay. I figure out, I listen to people and then figure out a way to do it better. That's what Jeff always used to tell me. David, you get in there and you try to figure out a way to do something different. You're not satisfied at listening to the blueprint that anybody gave you. I said, and I would say back to Jeff, are you going to do it the way I just showed you how to do it? Or are you going to do it the way the blueprint did it? And we'd always end up doing it my way. Okay. But the bottom line is that I can do something for maybe a week or two. I'm tired of it, and I pass that task along immediately to somebody else and I move on. That's my mentality. Your mentality is you're honed in on what you're doing, and you're going to take care of everything that comes across your desk, and you're just going to keep going at it. And my goal right now is trying to figure out where do we fit to help you go so that we can look at your business and look at building out the snapshot. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to figure out a way that I can help actually build out a snapshot. In my mind, I think it's going to take 2 to 4 hours a week.
Of your time, David?
Of all of our times at this particular point in time.
Okay. And if that's the case, and by the way, we would never do this in front of a typical client.
No, not at all.
No, we do this, but
I get it.
What does it look like financially, David, to make it worthwhile for you to do that, and for the two of us to spend? I mean, I don't care what we charge. It has to be reasonable. It has to be market and that kind of stuff. But he has to say yes or no to something. So let's give him something to say yes or no to, and then let's do it and give him the opportunity to say, look, we've done this for 4 hours or 6 hours, and I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm done with this. What would that look like to you?
Well, I wasn't thinking of it like that. I'm thinking of it more. It's not about my time. It's about yours and his. Okay.
Okay,
All I need to do is be there listening to I need to lay out the outline, pass the questions to you guys, hear what you want to do, and then I can tell you what the different costs and things are. I can't do that right now because I've never sold myself based on time. I've never done that.
but if you don't give him some limitation and parameters, he's never going to be able to make a decision.
Well, and let me say this. Along that path, I don't know if I can make, let me tell you where my schedule is right now. The week of October the 20th, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Vacation. And, I'm also pretty packed, few hours here or there before then. It really frees up after. So I don't know that I'd have time to engage immediately over the next week and a half. But if this is something you want to give some thought to, David or Don, and, because again, I think you even offered some options early. Hey, Rich, here's some recommendations. Then yeah, that's something I can certainly factor in and then see whether or not it makes sense to do it on the go forward. Because at that point too, I can also block it off, factor the time in.
Yeah.
We've got it on the schedule. We know what we're doing, and it's
okay. Okay, I'm working on something. I got it. I understand. So between now and the end of November, with you going on vacation and everything you've got to do, how many LinkedIn posts do you have scheduled to go out?
I stopped scheduling them,
So
but
the answer is none.
that I have actually set up and scheduled. No, but let me help you with this. I've got a year's worth that I've put together with the gentleman that did my branding, my messaging, and also my website. However, I don't see that there's as much of a personality in them that I would want to portray. When I portray the passion and my personality, I get a lot of discussion and a lot of interest. And it's not just check marks, it's people saying, hey man, Rich gets it. The reason I didn't do what you're talking about, David, is although the content is good and I looked at the content, it's almost more educational content or business owner focused. So I didn't care as much for those, and that's why I backed off on it.
Okay, so what you did is you gave him an assignment to put together a certain amount of posts and so forth. The posts you got back, you liked. They're good posts, but they're educational posts, and you want something that's more branded towards your voice.
We did go, I'm clarifying. I have done the whole voice and style through AI. So tell it to, produce a post on this topic based on my voice, and style that I have. We went all down that.
Did you use for that? What software did you use for that?
I've done it myself and he's done it. I used chat for that one myself when I did it originally.
So what did you tell ChatGPT? What did you tell ChatGPT about your voice? Did you say to use your voice, or did you already feed ChatGPT with enough content so that it knew what your business voice was?
Yes.
Okay.
The latter.
And so how many documents did you upload to ChatGPT in order to pull that off?
4 or 5 larger ones.
Did it analyze your website?
We had built a website. We had not built the new website at that point in time that I did this exercise. Now he did on his afterwards, but when I originally did it, I had an older website.
Okay. So you've got a marketing guy. What's his first name?
James.
Okay. So James is your marketing guy, and he has your permission to do posting on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn business page or personal
I
page?
do not use him for that today.
What do you use him for?
He was originally, and what he did well was helping me with my branding and messaging to then develop or redo my website. And he redid the website. His background was he was one of the content directors, content and branding directors that Kodak brought in after the whole debacle on the digital side. So he was the guy that they brought in to bring them out of that debacle. After that ran its course, he went out on his own. But like anything, when you're on your own, he's got Fortune 1000, branding and creativity and et cetera experience, but going after a market that couldn't afford it. So I ran a mastermind group, of which that's where I met Steve at, and he was part of that group. And through the process, he learned how to take his expertise and lower it down to, smaller companies. And he did that on mine. I've currently got him on 2 or 3 of my clients, and also 3 or 4 other referrals that he's, they seem to be pretty excited about.
So are the 100 posts that you have for LinkedIn, are they on a spreadsheet, on a CSV file ready to go?
Nah, they're in I think they're in a Word doc.
So
I'd have to look it up. I hadn't used them in probably a month or so.
So while you're away, while you're on vacation between now and the 1st of November, do you have any objection to posting on LinkedIn, getting those posts out on LinkedIn? Get James to post on LinkedIn twice a week, educational posts. If they're already built, just because you feel that they're not in your voice, that they're educational. Are they good quality educational content for your company?
Yeah.
Post them.
Yeah. I don't know that we haven't built any of the graphics around it. The individual graphics per post.
So the only thing that you have tied to them is the content, the text.
Yes.
The word.
I do have templates. I've got 10 to 12 templates that we've designed to use for social media posts. And if you hit my LinkedIn, you will see some of the templates.
Yeah, no, I've been watching your LinkedIn. Okay, so now if you gave him an assignment,
that, didn't you, Don? He's like, yeah, man, I've been watching your stuff, man.
If you give him the assignment to post 2 posts a week, then would he charge you? Is he going to charge you money to go in and create the images for those posts? Yeah, is he going to cost you money?
Probably. I've tried it before. When we originally created the full year's worth, part of it was his intent. I don't know that he's done a lot of like LinkedIn posts. Again, he's a branding creativity guy, but we know marketing spans massive breadth of capabilities. He had not done that for clients before, and he was trying to sell me on it. And again, I don't just buy it because I've worked with him before. So I did not engage him to do that. I do not know if he's using somebody else to do LinkedIn content today. So that's why I haven't, I don't want to be the gimmick.
So do you have the folder of all the text content?
Yeah.
You have it. He doesn't have it, or he has it, but you have a copy of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got all the content. It's actually segmented by, topic areas that we came up with that also links back to main discussion points off the website. So it's all sort of, the messaging is,
but you've got it, but you have it inside. You've got it in a document.
Yes.
Okay. My suggestion to you would be this. Let Don send you a link, an affiliate link to a software called Blaze. You sign up for Blaze. I think it's like somewhere between $25 and $30, $25 and $40.
$27.
$27. You sign up for Blaze using Don's affiliate link, okay? And then you use your username as your email address, and then I'll give you a password that you use for it, and then you turn around and give me your username, your email, and I'll use the password, and I will set that software up, and I'll make it so that it's automatically posted while you're away. I would need access to your LinkedIn account, and I'd have access to your LinkedIn account, and let me at least get that set up for you. Let me do something that brings value to you in some way or another, even if that value is, only impressions on your LinkedIn account. Let's get your LinkedIn algorithm running on a constant basis, okay? Because you're not posting enough on LinkedIn to get the algorithm to work in your favor. That's number one. Number two, tell me, you're talking to me about how you're using LinkedIn and going after wealth advisors. And here's what you said. But you said there are no business owners on LinkedIn. That was your words. Why did you say that?
Because of the sample size that I've worked with and on, business owners don't spend time on LinkedIn. It's for business relationships, but in my target market, they're working in their business. They're not on social media. On LinkedIn, the advisors that they work with are on LinkedIn because they're building out their network and business.
I think that what you said there makes perfect sense. And I'm going to say this as kindly as I can. It makes perfect sense to you. It makes no sense to me. However, I respect the way that you're thinking through it. What I would say back is, if I have your LinkedIn account and you allow me to get into it, can I go after business owners if I choose to? You tell me the parameters and let me go after those business people for you, because they're there. I'll put them in droves like that. I'll put them in droves. That's number one. The next thing is if that I bring them in, I want to bring them in. I want to build for you the database on our end using ConvertWave. That's a $97 a month product. If you get ConvertWave, I would suggest to you to keep HubSpot for now. Get ConvertWave. Allow me to have access to your ConvertWave. Allow me to have access to your LinkedIn. Allow me to have access to the Blaze software, and let me do my thing for you based on, and what everything would be based on would be your website and your content of whatever content you send to me to look at. I'll create your business voice for you right along with you. When you get back from vacation, starting on November 1st, I would say to you, at that particular point in time, the conversation should be about building an avatar that we can use to market multiple different strategies for you online. One strategy being that you're looking for sales guys. Am I correct in that statement?
How do you define sales guys? What do you mean?
Do you want salesmen?
Somebody that's good for you and do what you do.
I thought you were looking for sales guys.
Okay. That's where I wanted clarification.
Consultant.
Okay. What I would call more are, advisors that can do what I do.
Yes. Whatever terminology you use.
Yes.
Finding people that can multiply what you do and do the same thing that you do and do whatever you tell them to do.
Yes. They're for the term, David, In the exit planning world, they're called value advisors. It can also be a business advisor. It can also be, one of your top profiles would be COOs or fractional COOs.
So our
However-
task on November, when you come back in November, I hate to interrupt. I'm trying to get all this on the recording so that when I get this information, I've got my tasks and my issues and everything all set up. When you get back from vacation in November, the avatar we'll focus on is building a personalized Rich Hall avatar. And one of the topics it'll be geared towards is going to be value advisor recruitment. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And what is another thing that you want to have inside your business that you would either find on LinkedIn or Facebook or TikTok or Google? What would be something else? You want to build your brand on do you use TikTok?
No, not today.
Okay. You don't use TikTok. You use Instagram?
Not for the business.
Okay, that's good. You don't need to go any further with that. Pinterest, are you using Pinterest at all?
No.
Okay, and how do you use Google? Just for your website?
I have a Google business profile.
Anybody
but I'm
managing
not
that?
I'm sorry.
Anybody managing that?
Not daily. I've been doing, I initially worked with a lady that was one of the top Google advisors in the country to get some of it initially set up, but I didn't engage longer term as far as adding content to my Google business profile and all that. And I haven't been doing ads on it as well either.
I don't believe in ads. I'm not an ad guy. I have ad people that do it for me, but it's not my forte.
Especially if you do.
Yeah, especially for what I do and what you do either. I wouldn't advise ads. I mean, to me, I don't see where it would be of value, but I've never done the research on it. Okay. Now what about a business blog? Do you have a blog? Let me look at the website real quick.
Not today. The older website, I had one, and I was probably posting on it 3 or 4 times a month. But the current one, I do not currently have a blog. That's one of my discussions, which is, again, we're all tying into SEO and all of that. That goes back because I also had the blog that was doing some of your links to other blogs where my content was getting posted in other groups and etc. But are blogs still an effective way for both SEO and getting content out there today?
Do you have anybody doing backlinks?
Not much.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
not much.
So I will also, if you allow me, I'll take access to your blog, and I will not build you a blog until I'm not going to say until. I won't build you a blog unless you request it built after you come back from vacation. But I will build out enough content, blogging content, for you to look at when you get back, so that you can make a decision on whether or not this would be a feasible thing for you to do. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Everything that I just said I would do for you, those 2 pieces of software alone, I'll have them doing it just like that. Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get back from vacation.
Very cool.
$27 a month and $97 a month. Is that a commitment? No extra fee for me. No extra fee for me.
Man, I take that all day long. What do you mean?
Until November. Once it comes in November, once November comes, then we're going to, if it's all right with you, I'd like to leave it up to Don. I'd like to leave it up to Don to create our consulting agreement so that we can move ahead, because I'll have enough built for you so that you'll be able to say, okay, I know what this guy's doing. I see what he wants to do. I understand it. And now you can work with Don and I can just go do my thing for you. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Don, did I do that good enough?
Well, you probably did it. You probably left something on the table,
Oh,
but
there's no doubt.
but
Hey, Don.
but I don't care. I'm like you. I want to get something started. I
Right.
want to see what you do.
Right.
Him to have that appreciation for what you do. This would not be the sales process that we would ever use for anybody. We would have already hung up and said goodbye.
Right. I would have been gone a long time ago.
But you are special because you are, and you are also connected with Steve, who is a brother of mine, and I love him to death and do anything in the world for him. And I like the idea of you being able to sample this. This is like the Chinese restaurant where they stand outside and put it on a toothpick and say, hey, try this a little bit.
Well, and let me say, I sincerely appreciate it, because, not looping David into anything, but I cannot tell you the number of clients that I've had to help them unwind where they've spent an enormous amount of money with marketing people.
Oh, trust me, man. I know that big time.
They don't get it. They don't understand. And a lot of business owners don't. So to me, again, I love everything I've heard. One thought, again, and the other side of my head is, oh crap, what do I do if he's successful? So now I got to work through that.
Hey,
But you can see part of the conversation is the value advisors, finding the other people. That's where it all ties back together. What kind of commission model?
Yeah.
I've got to work on getting my process scalable beyond what it is today. And I can show you guys the outcome at we can get on a call at some point and I can show you, well, hey, here's what sort of the outcome looks like. So you get a feel. But again, the market is screaming for this type of info.
Yeah.
But I think the only thing to walk away, David, or there's a lot of things to walk away, but I'm fighting the entire M&A ecosystem.
Great.
But yeah. And I mean, the thing is, the word's getting out, but the ecosystem tells everybody, if you're even thinking about selling your business, they get introduced to brokers, M&A advisors, investment bankers, or whatever. And none of their business, rarely are their businesses ready. And what I'm saying is, don't wake up one day when you're absolutely exhausted, you got no gas left in the tank, and you want to sell your business and have any expectation of it's going to meet your needs. Let's talk 2 to 3 years in advance. Give us enough time. Let us help you understand what it's worth and its value, so that then you can spend the next year or two on getting it where it needs to be, so that the end game is riding off into the sunset. That's sort of the messaging, but a lot in the industry don't want to hear it because all the money is made on the back end. And we're going to make it on the back end too. We're just going to help them get there.
Rich, let me just say this to you. Two things.
Yes.
My business philosophy has always been fire, ready, aim. Okay. And here's the reason why. Most people fail because they never pull the trigger.
Never.
I would agree with that.
They
Yes.
talk about it and they analyze it to death and they never pull the trigger. And that's exactly what you need to do now for your future, for you to be able to sell your company down the road for $100 million, not 20,000.
Right. Yes. 100%.
2, having more prospects than you can deal with is the good problem.
Right. That's the best problem.
It is the best problem you have. And by the way, the other thing that it is it is the best way in the world to put pressure on you to recruit somebody.
That is true.
So if
Yes.
you get that a couple of things done, is just get out of the way and quit worried about the details. Fire, ready, aim. Let's do something, and then let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll adapt and we'll change it and we'll fix it and we'll do something else. I know that about David. He's done it all of his life.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then just move this ball forward and give you something to be really proud of. And at any time, we can always say, slow it down, shut it down.
Yeah.
So, Rich, are you a Google Workspace user?
No, I've got all the Office and all that kind of stuff. Microsoft.
Okay, so you're not a Google Workspace user.
No, I mean, I use Google Drive and Google Docs and everything along that line is need be, but that's not my primary tool.
Right. Your domain is not tied to your Google Workspace, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What I'd like to do is I'm going to build for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build for you your own Chrome account online. I'm going to take your email address, which is going to be your username, and I'm going to put the letters ECM dot in front of your email address, and I'm going to create a Google Chrome account. And once I create that account, I'm going to need you to be available to accept the verification that comes when it comes to you and says, I need you to verify this Google's, this email address.
Right.
And this.
Let me ask you this, David. What's the difference? I mean, I've got a Google account for my work address, my work email address.
Are you using it for stuff?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to be involved in any of the tools that you have and anything that you have in that Google work. I'll just create a brand new one.
Okay.
It'll be only tools that it'll only be tools that I use in it. It'll be have your LinkedIn account in it. It doesn't have anything of mine in it, and it doesn't have anything that's proprietary to what you're doing in your personal life. And you'll have all the code numbers and everything to it. And it'll be, when we're ready to pass it along to you, we can either pass it to you or we can merge it into anything that you want.
Yes. Okay. That's fine.
What email that makes it so that if I go and say, if I get busy, just as an example, if I get busy with another project, I could call my IT department on the phone and say, I need to get this done, this such and such a project. Here's the code to get into that email, into that Google Chrome. And then my VA can just log in and do the work that I want them to do. And it doesn't affect anything of yours in any way, shape, or form. Okay.
Yep.
The next thing is tell me what email address what email client do you use? Are you using Gmail? Are you using
Outlook?
Okay, use Outlook. Do you know how to forward individual emails to other people? You know how
You mean
to
automated or just
automated forwarding
or just standard for automated forwarding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't done it in a while, but sure.
Okay, so here's what we need to do. When we do this task, Google is going to inevitably block me. Okay, inevitably block me because I'm in the Philippines, and so it's going to say when I go to log in the second, I'll get in the first time, I'll close it out, then I'll try to get in the second time, and it's going to tell me that I can't log into it, and so. What I'm going to need to do is it's going to say, give me another way to verify the account. And the email that we're going to use to verify the account is going to be your richard.hall email address. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when it goes to your email in your Outlook account, it's going to leave the 6-digit code. And so we're going to have to make it so that when you're not around and I need to get into that account, it goes to your email, but automatically gets forwarded to the brand new Chrome account that I set up, ecm.richhall. Whatever. Right. And it comes to me and I get the code. I do it with all my clients so that None of my work is inside any of their, doesn't mix up with any of their content, and my stuff doesn't get mixed up in their content as well. So the only things that I might need from you between the time now and the time you go on vacation, I will do with you through email. I'll send you like emails that say, hey, can you present to me a document about this or this or this? One of the documents that I would really be interested in having as soon as you feel like doing it, and you can do it in a Google Voice if you want to. Do you have a voice voice writing tool that you use at all?
Not today.
Okay.
Not for the transcription like you're talking about. That's what you're talking about, right?
No, voice recording, just doing a plain voice recording. You could do it on your mobile phone if you want to. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I use on mobile phone at times, but
okay. Here's what's really good about you. Here's what's really good about you. You want to get your voice, right? You want to get your voice, but you truly haven't developed your voice. You truly haven't given Google your voice. You gave it documents of what you've written out. You've given it head stuff, not voice. Okay. Voice and head stuff are two totally different things. So the request that I would have for you is this. I'm going to ask you to develop a document in voice recording of anything that you want to talk about that is related to the type of individual value advisor recruit that you'd like to have. Give me everything that you want to give me about a value advisor that you would like to have in your business. Everything that you can think about. And once you have that document, don't edit it. Don't do any editing to it. Just do it in the conversation that you speak. No other way, okay? And if you do that, another thing that you could do is take, when you're doing it on your, what are you using, an Android or an iPhone?
Android.
Okay, take your iPhone, take your Android, set it on your computer, and set it on your desk. And I want you to look at me look right into the camera right now. Okay. Take your hand and put your hand on your head, just like that, above your head, right on the top of your head. Do that right now. Put your finger up.
Okay.
Put your finger up. No, like this. Do it like in an L shape, like that. Put your hand, right on the top of your head, and put your thumb down. Right. So put your thumb down so it's in an L position. You see how the top of your finger is out of the screen? See how the top of your finger is out of the screen?
Yes.
All right. When you sit in front of your camera, I want you to take your finger and make it so that your finger is touching the top of the frame, not hidden. Okay. I want to see your entire top of your finger. That's when you do the recording. I want you to sit in front of your phone, do the recording sitting still with your hands either folded or in a position like this. Don't move around a lot. And about every 3 sentences, all I want you to do is stop and close your lips for a second or two, just like that. Okay. If you can do that for me, you have no idea what you're creating. It'll be so cool. It's unbelievable. You'll be able to give me the document that I need in order to create all of the content for a value advisor. You'll be giving me content to be able to create your avatar, and you'll be able to give me blogging content for the for being able to go after a value advisor as well. So you've got a little bit of homework, not a whole lot. Okay?
I've been down this road with him. This is crazy, and it feels so stupid to do this. But once you finish it, you're going to say, "Oh my God."
Do you think you have the ability? Do you think you have the ability to tell the difference between an avatar and a real person?
Probably less so today. I've actually used some avatar creation tools in the earlier stage I've worked with, not myself, I've got a client that does for commercials and things like that, but I haven't done it in probably the last 6 or 8 months. So the quality back then, yes, you could tell the difference. Everything I've seen today, probably not. See, here's the thing, man. I hate my accent. I hate my voice. So this will make my skin crawl even worse. But I know we got to do it, right?
Yes, we do, because it is you.
Some things we just got to buckle up and do.
Guys, I got 5 minutes here.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Anything we need, David, to close out here?
No, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna put together a document. Well, send them off the document. I'll let you know what links I want. You're not gonna send out all the links to them at one time. We'll get them just to do Blaze first, and then I'll get Converge Wave in a day or so. I want to get with a developer. I want to tell my developer what it is that I want to do with Converge Wave so that I'm not wasting any time.
Okay. And
okay, guys, thanks for letting me be involved. This is really cool.
Whose notes is this conversation in?
Mine.
It's in
I'll
your.
I'll send you copies after we.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if you could send us copies of that, that would be great.
Happy to. And Dave, is there any value in using recording in Zoom versus on the phone? Because I can use Zoom and a note taker to do the voice, and it'll do voice as well as audio if you care for it.
The challenge with it is on my end getting the data out. If you do it in if you do it in a Google document or on an Android phone, you know, just doing a recording, then it's easy to uptake and get your files and upload them to things. Like the recordings that are you using a free version of Note Taker, or no? You're using Fathom.
Yeah. Well, I'm using Fathom. It's free, but I get the audio, the video, and audio as well as the transcribed.
So you're going to get the entire video and the transcription?
Yes. And the audio set, I think audio separate if I want it, but yes.
Okay, send it to me. Send me the link to get in. Absolutely. I'll take a look at it. And if it works,
yeah, I'll
fine.
send it over.
Yeah, absolutely.
If not, I also use Zoom to record my audio, video for downloading. So I could do it in Zoom and then that's what I usually do, and then send you the audio file out of Zoom.
Okay. But I need the video. Remember, I need the audio. I need the video off your mobile device.
Can you use it off of Zoom?
No.
I mean, I don't mind, but no.
No, because I'm going to put, have you ever heard of HeyGen?
No.
I'm going to upload it into HeyGen, and it needs to come off.
I mean, I can do it. Zoom will give me an MP4 file plus the voice file separate.
Okay, but it gives a shitty video. The video is not as quality as your mobile device will be.
How do you really feel about it, David?
Yeah, it's shitty.
Well, the thing about it that they don't tell you, you have to record to get higher quality. You have to record as well in full screen mode.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you that kind of detail.
You can send them both. You can, if you do it, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have both at the same time. You can do Zoom and do your camera at the same time. You're just recording on two different devices, but the same recording. That's cool.
That's right.
I don't care how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't usually record off the phone, so that'll be fun. But yeah, whatever you need, Dave, that's fine.
And then look at something else that you should get in the habit of. If I stay on with you, I'll have more homework for you than Carter's got liver pills. But while you're on, where are you going on vacation?
Just going on a cruise out of Galveston. I mean, we live an hour and a half from the coast. Okay, so I'm going to be online.
You're going to be on a cruise
ship. I'll go nuts otherwise, but I'll have internet and I'll have,
You're going to be on a cruise ship.
Yes.
How many days? A week?
A week.
Okay. Make sure that mobile device is charged every single day. Do you have a selfie stick?
Oh yeah.
Do you have a microphone, a small microphone, a wireless microphone?
I don't know. I mean, I've got some pretty nice earbuds. That'll do the microphone piece. What are you thinking?
Get yourself a small, go on. Don probably has a link to the small microphone that you bought. I
just bought it on Prime.
Okay. Get a very good high quality microphone, wireless, that just clips on your shirt. Okay. And can be used on your Android. And while you're on the ship, anytime that something goofy comes into your mind, I mean, seriously, anything goofy that comes into your mind, I want you to record it and say what's ever on your mind at that particular point in time and save that file. And then whenever when you're ever in a situation where you're thinking about your business, record that as well. Okay. Like if you can think of a topic, record it. Okay. Because right now, recording for you for the next 6 months, recording content for you is going to make money for you. I want you to know that it's going to make you money. I'm going to I'll edit your recordings like you would not believe, because I know you're articulate. You're very good at when you're communicating and you're saying something, you've got editable content, and I can build hundreds of snippets off of it. And all I want to do is get your brand out there in the marketplace as much as I possibly can. That's my goal. So you provide me with the content.
So any, when you hear like, man, this rich guy's, he's absolutely nuts. That's totally okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know who Gary V is?
Yes.
You saw that.
That's what he does. Yes.
Right. Saw that recording I sent you, right? The Gary V recording on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Think like Gary V. Because you can think about a niche that we could do. We could do, motivational thinking for how to get your mindset in the place where you want to, and I'm only saying this off the top of my head, getting your mindset in the place where you want to think about selling your business or getting your business evaluated. Come up with some fakakis little saying that we can turn into a 4-word keyword phrase, and we'll try to make that phrase go viral. That's the goal. Okay.
Gotcha. Look, Don, I know you got to go, man. It's the bottom of the hour.
You only need one viral video. Bye, Don.
All right. Bye, you guys. I got to get on the call.
All right. Thank you, Don.
Bye-bye. Rich, thank you very much for this opportunity, man.
Dave, man, this is fun.
You bet.
Again, I think hopefully you can see the potential.
Oh, man, I do. Believe me. I see it. I know it. Yeah. And you're going to love
All right, brother. Whatever you need from me, let me know.
You bet. You have a good one.
I'll be online. I got you. I'm pretty much offline with clients tomorrow on site, but I'll have periods where I'm checking in, doing my thing. So, I'll get to you ASAP.
No problem. Have a good one. Thanks,
All
sir.
right, brother. Thanks.